never saw her the same. Though this isn't the last time we'll see her. Not at all. She'll still be around, very active, the next year, acting like none of this ever happened, really.
And we had no idea how right he was. Many might remember I made this video, but you might notice that video is no longer on my channel. Well, I deleted it. This doesn't mean I retracted every single statement I made in that video. I still stand by the fact that you shouldn't harass others for a ship involving fictional characters. So, why did I delete it? Well, Ten, the person I was defending in that video, is Zer0finix. To those who don't know who Zer0finix is, she is a well-known predator in the Sonic community and is described as
the worst one. Everything wrong with the current Sonic fanbase.
She sent NSFW to minors and groomed a 16-year-old along with several others when she was 22, bullied and harassed several people, mostly minors, for stealing her character designs, which isn't true at all. I recommend you watch ZipZap's video on her if you want the full details of what she did. I'll leave a link to the video in the description down below. In this video, I'll be talking about the more recent events surrounding her. Before we begin, I'd like to add that I will be referring to 0/10 as Vivi, since that is the name she currently goes by. I know it was previously Nila, but as we should all know,
she went by many names throughout her life.
December 1st, 2023. One of Vivi's relatives came out with the information that Ten and Zero are the same people, and that Ten is actually a girl. She had masked herself as a guy in hopes of nobody finding out who she is. I've only heard of Zero, and I have seen ZipZap's video floating around, but for some reason, I never got around to watching the video, so I never knew about all the nitty-gritty details. But when I found out that Ten and Zero were the same people, I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. I talked to a child predator as a minor myself. Now, we haven't actually interacted that much. We weren't even friends. Jesus, I dodged a bullet there. But the idea, the fact that I was somewhat associated with this person, that I defended this person, that I was going to provide a voice for one of her characters, that I was in the constant presence of someone like that. I usually don't get so shaken up when it comes to predators and stories about them, likely because I was probably desensitized to it. But this time, I actually interacted with not just a child predator, but a well-known one. And I didn't know. Nobody knew. Now, some of y'all might be like, how do you know they're the same people? That person only said that 10 and 0 are the same, but they provided no proof. And to which I say, I can see where you're coming from. There have been multiple times in the past where people falsely accused someone for something. But the thing is, 10 has been very secretive of his past, or rather, her past. And the amount of similarities these two people have is uncanny. Aside from both people having number-based usernames, if you were to put both of their art side by side, you'll notice that both art styles look really similar to one another. Especially here, look at how the eyes are drawn. You may argue that people can have similar art styles, and that is completely fair. But might I add that these two people also have very similar, if not the exact same handwriting. One of the most difficult things for someone to replicate is someone else's handwriting. It's one thing to have two people share a similar art style, but similar handwriting too? That is pure sorcery. Even their texting styles are eerily similar. I will be drawing more connections between the two as I explain the things that Vivi has done recently. We know who Zer0finix is, but who is Ten? Well, Ten is one of the aliases Vivi went by. Under that alias, she was a part of the Friday Night Funkin' community, but she was mostly engaged in the Void community. She even made a Friday Night Funkin' mod of her own, versus Ratty. She was planning on making another Friday Night Funkin' mod centered around her music's universe, but in light of recent events, it will never see the light of day. She was a skilled artist and her artwork was well liked by the people in that community. However, there was one thing that Vivi
drew the most, that would become the magnum opus of her career.
You get into the shower, clean behind your ears and wash your hair so that you smell super fresh and nice. brush your teeth, moisturize, do your makeup, check your weight, maybe you dropped a size. Put on your jeans and your t-shirt, start some joggers, grab your keys and get yourself a beat inside your car. You put on all the lights, so it's fucking simple when you wanna drive really far. You are an average girl on a mission to save the world. You are an average girl on a mission to save the world.
Dira was a character that Vivi made. She was originally created as a gender-bent version of Ratty, but later on became her own thing. Vivi shipped her with a character named Void, and the ship became pretty popular within the Void community. People started calling the ship Voira. Funnily enough, a lot of people really simped for Void, and there were many OCs that were shipped with them as well.
Alina's been shipped with a lot of characters, but she's been shipped with Shadow the most, otherwise known as Shadlina. I don't exactly know why, but so many OCs out there are shipped with Shadow.
Overall, Vivi was beloved by the community, and her fans believed that she was this precious angel that has never done anything wrong in her life. If only they knew how wrong they were. Vivi was very bad at managing her own Discord server, where her community was extremely toxic. At some point in time, a 10 appreciation channel was added. Keep in mind that the server was created by 2 different people and Vivi had no part in its creation other than requesting for it. The appreciation channel was added without the original creator's permission nor knowledge. It's as if she created that channel so she could fish for compliments. She was also described to be very sensitive, in which the smallest of insults will start to make her cry. One can assume that she is very egotistical.
To establish a theme, a common occurrence throughout the video. And in this case, the word was egotism.
On top of that, she wasn't very willing to set any rules and would actively give back perms that were taken with good reason by mods. Her reasoning for doing so is that the mods were too mean. Many in the server, a server filled with minors might I add, would make creepy and lewd comments, and she simply let it slide. She would call anyone mean if they were to speak against this. She finally complied once the moderators and admins told her that they were leaving the server due to the insane amounts of toxicity within the community. However, the damage has already been done. None of the members of her community would ever listen to the moderators. There was another point in time where Vivi got mad at someone for using her old art for their profile picture and started taking her anger out on everyone. She started accusing people who might have saved her old art, screaming for the person who did it to come clean. Anybody who tries to calm her down and call her out for jumping to conclusions, she would scream at them too. She later blamed her outburst on her personal life problems, her ADHD, and her HSP depression, which, might I add, is not a real diagnosis.
And the reason why she did that was because she had a difficult home life. In reality, she's actually blaming her cousin for all of this.
One moderator even tried telling her that she should simply work on her ADHD meltdowns or even step away to calm down, like any sensible person would do. But she bites back, telling this moderator that she is just a child that doesn't know anything. However, all of this barely scratches the surface of what she has done. During her time in the community, Vivi associated herself with the fellow mod creator, Starbreak, the creator of Void. She drew a lot of fan art for him, and Star was also part of the development team for Vivi's cancelled Friday Night Funkin' mod. And at some point in time, Starbreak made the Voira ship semi-canon, in which the ship would be canon in Vivi's music's universe, but Void will remain single in Star's universe. It seemed as if they were very close friends, inseparable even. Keyword, seemed. After some time, Starbreak's girlfriend, Annie Stars, brought her and Star's experiences with Vivi to light. Over a month later, Starbreak himself came out with his own statement. It's about time I come out about everything. I can only share so much, but this needs to be said. Hi, I'm Anon1056 in Anonymous Neg. I've been talking about someone who used me and him, and I'm pretty sure y'all know who him is. This is all in reference to the recent stuff that came out about Ten. I'm gonna be honest, there's a reason why Ten was never my favorite person, and the outcomings of last night explain why. The context behind the last night that occurred was that Star came out about how he really felt about Vivi. Complete honesty, I don't feel that close with Ten, like, at all really. We've been friendly, but I feel like y'all have been led to think we're closer than I feel we are. Yes, we've hung out. Yes, I've enjoyed his company. But it kinda ends there for me, and seeing everyone think that we're this perfect team just bugs me, and has for a long time, honestly. I guess I just didn't want anyone's feelings to be hurt, but I got put into a weird situation, and I'm finally just tired of not saying anything and making it seem like I'm not uncomfortable. If y'all haven't noticed, I've never said anything Star10 anywhere, and that's just because I don't feel that way about us. I'm honestly way closer with Annie, and the Star10 attention actually doesn't feel fair to her for some reason, to be honest. But it goes deeper. Star gave me permission to share with y'all what happened in more detail. So as y'all likely know, Star10 week is completely gone. It was never Star's idea. It was all Ten's idea. As Ten has basically said himself several times, he really liked Star. He plastered Star's name and face everywhere he possibly could. But as y'all had noticed, Star never once hyped this up or anything like that. But he could never say anything about it because Ten would get upset about it. Ten pushed so much onto Star, making the latter feel trapped. He went almost 2 months without talking to Ten for his own sake. I first met Ten when he reached out to me late last year. We exchanged messages here and there earlier this year, and I liked the idea of getting to know him. He was a talented artist and mod maker, and I looked up to him. We started getting much closer in March when he opened up to me about a lot of personal stuff. He said spending time with me did a ton for his state of mind. I was a comfort for him. The thing is, and I've held my tongue on this for the longest time, because this early on, I was too naive, he was completely obsessed with me. It did get better later on, but at first he would message me pretty much daily. For me, that got draining very quickly, and when I didn't respond for a day or two because of it, he'd get very disappointed, and I'd feel like I was being a bad friend. I enjoyed his company, but it felt more like a chore than a friendship. We became friends only because I wanted to continue being a comfort to him, and because I enjoy not feeling as introverted as I've always been. I honestly entertained the friendship largely for his sake. It was a friendship he started, and one I just went along with. I guess I was just too concerned with trying not to be a jerk to think that maybe he wasn't a good model for a friendship. When he finally messaged Ten to tell him happy birthday, Ten did thank him, but went on to type an entire paragraph basically chastising and berating him for not messaging for a month. He started demanding an apology, talked about how he was so depressed without him, and all around just tried to make Star feel bad for not talking to him at all. He even tried to guilt trip him by saying that friends should always explain why they aren't online and talking to their friends, basically implying that Star messed up by not talking to him every day. Star was busy with school and work already, but given the fact that Ten had been so overbearing before, Star felt just fine not getting into 4 to 5 hour conversations with him every weekend. Yes, that's how long they talk. Ten's paragraph of criticism was Star's breaking point. Star did not apologize because he has no obligation to apologize for simply having a life, and snapped back at Ten. Ten immediately went back on his statement, claiming that he didn't want Star to feel forced to talk to him even though that was exactly what he just did. I had honestly been fine not talking to Ten, but I still finally messaged him on his birthday, and instead of being overly grateful to talk to me like I expected, he proceeded to berate me for not messaging sooner. To be fair, I had gone much longer than I said I would before messaging, but I was honestly just very okay with not worrying about him, and I was busy with college anyway, and wanted an apology. I finally had enough and told him he was being unreasonable, and once I called him out, he then changed his tone completely and started apologizing.
Neela tells her that she has no problem with Alshani's character, that her OC was fine and that she could use any colors for her. I mean, if that's the case, why did you threaten to cancel her just a while before?
He later deleted that message, and when Star asked why, he said that it was so that if Star showed someone the messages, it wouldn't look bad, as if avoiding responsibility. He deleted his initial complaining message. I asked why he deleted it, and he said he didn't want people to see it because it was annoying. The events of that night broke Star's patience, and he finally came out about everything on Twitter, specifically the Star10 stuff, which, of course, people assumed it was a ship. Why wouldn't they? It's extremely reminiscent of a ship name, but apparently it wasn't a ship, but a way for Ten to advertise their friendship as some kind of brand, a brand that Star never agreed to and only went along with to not hurt his feelings. And the way Ten painted Star10 was extremely one-sided and out of proportion. The fact that it made so many people think that Star and Ten were inseparable besties is what was so problematic about it. The way Ten marketed Star10 was painting it that he and Star were closer than Star was to me, his girlfriend, or even Yellow, his own brother. And Star did not like that at all. More people were talking about Star10 than there were people talking about me or Yellow. Star10 was loved by everyone, but it was never real. Ten pushed it out to everyone, made it clear as possible that he and Star were special friends, and even requested songs and covers and art to be made of Star 10. Star finally put an end to it yesterday, since it was just never true. They were never special friends. They were never close. They were never best friends in any capacity. Ten made it up to make himself happy. Star felt like Ten was trying to use his own popularity and success with Void to push himself up the ranks more, and to be honest, I kinda see it. Y'all may have seen it too. In Ten's bio before all this came out, he had Star's name in his bio along with Star 10 emojis. From the outside, it looks very much like how a couple would list each other's names in their bios. And if you're like me, you might almost read it too quickly and read my boyfriend. He later removed it from his bio after the No More Star 10 tweet came out. But then he started to push around the narrative that Star's tweet referred to shipping and not the friendship. That's why Star later clarified and further pushed that he and Ten were never close. Ten and I aren't best friends. Annie and Yellow are my best friends. In my opinion, Ten and I were pretty standard friends. And that's still being generous, to be honest. The Star 10 stuff wasn't bugging me because it sounded like a ship. It was because it made it look like Ten and I were this inseparable duo when that wasn't true at all. Eventually, I started putting my foot down and trying to feel valid and wanting my boundaries to be respected. He wasn't messaging me every day, but by fall, he basically took it upon himself to tell everyone he knew how close we were and that we were the best of friends. We were friendly, but what he was saying about how close we were was very exaggerated, and it made me really uncomfortable. I've never once flaunted my friendship with Ten anywhere, whereas he'd do it constantly. I never said anything because I simply didn't feel that close with him. He talked it up a ton because he saw us as the ultimate friends. As much as I wanted to be honest that I just didn't feel the same, I didn't feel like I could say it anywhere without it making things worse. If I confronted him, I knew from past experience, he'd likely be very hurt. If I started talking publicly how I felt about things and being honest with everyone, I felt like he'd still be hurt. I felt like anything I did would just damage whatever friendship was there. And on top of that, I honestly felt like he made me part of his entire brand without my permission. I agreed to collab on the Musics mod early on, and the Star 10 week we planned seemed pretty fitting because of that. But as time went on, it started to feel like he was just using me as a prop so he could say he was Starbreak's friend, the mod week, the fan art, him talking about me all the time. He wasn't committing a crime, but it just felt extremely off and uncomfortable, and I didn't feel like I could address it in any way. I should have confronted him way sooner, but I guess I'm just too nice sometimes. And this has been my girlfriend Annie's problem too. After we got together, he proceeded to get extremely upset, seemingly because I had someone that mattered more to me. Then I again started to feel like the bad guy because I genuinely just wished I could figure things out with my girlfriend without hurting people. In all honesty, the way he acted was totally unreasonable, and I'm aware of that. After this, he went on several breaks. Annie was trying to help smooth things over and emotionally overworking herself in the process. And then I started college classes, and Ten and I didn't talk for several months. He spoke to Annie at one point, only to request that I message him again and nothing else. He had mentioned he didn't want to get in the way of my relationship, but he could have still messaged me. I never said he couldn't. But now Annie felt that she was just a means for him to reach me. But that's only scratching the surface of what Ten did. Remember when he threatened to delete the music server? How he claimed that he was heartbroken about something? How he basically outed Star for crying on call with them and called that we were crying together on call? You'll never believe me when I tell you what the reason was. Ten had that meltdown after finding out Star and I were together. There were supposedly other things that contributed, but the fact that that was what sent him over the edge is just idiotic to me. He had that meltdown just because Star was with me. I can't go into too much detail than that, but yeah, Star and I were so worried about coming out with our relationship because of Ten. The reason why Vivi was so upset that Star and Annie got together was because Vivi had a crush on Star. It wasn't just a simple crush. It was a full-on obsession. She recorded voice chats she had with Star and drew ship art of him and her. I've actually seen this one floating around when I was in her Discord server, but now that I know the full context behind this image, I just feel sick to my stomach. She made Star read the Idiot Sandwich comic out loud just so she could hear the compliments come out of his mouth. The context behind this one is that Star had a car accident where he hit someone else's car by accident, and of course, Star was a little shaken up by it. Then Vivi drew this, and yeah, this is pretty insensitive considering Star was literally in a car accident, though not a severe one, but it's still a car accident, And this is how she responds to it. She also made an animatic of her and Star playing doors. I'll play a part of the animatic where her voice can be heard, and I'll also play a clip of her voice when she was under the Zer0finix alias. Listen to both of their voices and you'll notice that they both sound similar.
That thing in front of me, whispering and jump scare me.
Go to check websites such as Instagram, DeviantArt, and Amino, and many more.
You might be arguing, they sound completely different, they can't be the same people. But hey,
Anyone can make their voice sound different by making it higher.
give the two clips a listen again, but pay no attention to the pitches of their voices. Listen to the way they pronounce things. You can hear the resemblance now, can you? Vivi also talked behind Annie's back, calling her the B word multiple times and calling her overly jealous.
She left me without saying anything and then talked behind my back.
And to make matters much worse, Vivi wanted to be in a polycule with Star and Annie, and I bet you anything that she doesn't give a single damn about Annie. She wanted to be in that polycule for Star and only Star. Oh, yeah, this. Vivi exposed one of her fans, a minor, to her NSFW art. This sounds uncomfortably familiar, doesn't it?
Zer0finix has been accused of sending NSFW artwork to minors.
The very idea of sending porn to a minor should have never crossed your fucking mind in the first place!
Neela made and sent him art of Alina, often naked and in very sensual positions.
The minor didn't take a screenshot because she was too scared to do so. And the NSFW artwork was in the now deleted Discord server, so we still can't get a screenshot. There was even a possible chance that Vivi groomed, or at least tried to groom her. The minor always got everything she wanted from Vivi. Vivi told her everything about her crush on Star, and showered her with attention and appreciation. This is mostly speculation, and I'll let you come to your own conclusion. But knowing her history, Vivi probably would have groomed her. And while I was watching ZipZap's video on Zer0finix, I got to the part where he talks about her relationship with Goopy. And after hearing about what she did to him,
He threatened to dox people who she didn't like and were friends.
Kind of like forced me into like, she kind of like slinked her way into trying to
Certains in a broken soul that forced him to touch himself and engage in lewd roleplays.
it scares me to think what could have happened if Vivi actually managed to get to Star and the anonymous minor. I finally opened up about everything I had been feeling, and after that, we went our separate ways. And now here we are. Ten used me to try to get to Star before music's deletion. It sounds crazy, and it's probably not Ten's intention, but it sure seems suspicious when Ten agreed with you about a ship you like, and then proceeds to ask you to ask your own boyfriend to message him. I'm not making that up. Check the screenshots, and you'll see what I mean. I was just a bridge for Ten to get to Star. He never referred to me by name. To Ten, I'm just Star's girlfriend. I feel like I'm nothing to Ten. I never mattered to him. I only mattered when I showed up in Musics to talk about a ship I liked. I only mattered because I could be the bridge that he needed to get to Star. There's no way around it, intentional or not. Ten used me. Ten used Star. He used the both of us. He used me to get to Star, and he used Star to draw more attention towards his stories.
You say I used you. Me. I used you. You make me laugh. You used me. Guilt-tripped me.
Before leaving the Friday Night Funkin' community, Vivi wrote one of her many farewell messages.
Neela announces to Alshani a goodbye forever message.
I'll let you pause and read all of this, but yeah. She didn't even address what she actually did to Star. She took no responsibility for it.
She says all she wants to do is move on and be left alone, but never fully admitting to the things she did. She really just wants it all under the rug to save her reputation.
Shortly after Starbreak made his statement on how he felt about her, that's when the information came out that Ten and Zero were the same people. All hell broke loose. People were talking about it in Starbreak's Discord server. Here are some of their responses to the situation.
blocking her account, blanking her profile picture.
And that's how history repeats itself. To those who still don't believe 10 and 0 are the same people, tell me, how can two people have similar art styles, similar handwritings, similar voices, similar texting styles, the similar idea of having a number-based username, the exact same egotistical behavior, the exact same emotional manipulation, the same act of exposing NSFW to minors, the exact same behavior, all at once? That's some crazy coincidence. Word has been going around that Vivi has now moved into the amazing Digital Circus fandom. I haven't been in the fandom, nor have I watched the series, but I do know that the fandom is filled with minors, so I advise everyone in that fandom to please be careful. And I am so sorry to everyone who fell victim to her. Whether she was under the Zer0finix alias or the 10 alias, you didn't deserve the things that she has done to you. And Vivi, Nila, 10, 0, whatever the hell you go by, if you are watching this, you may hurt other people and ruin their lives, and for that, fuck you. But you will never win. You will run out of places to go. You can't hide forever.